Alright, what's up guys? So, I don't typically do videos like this, and I probably won't in the future, but Ready or Not has always been a game that I supported, that I wanted to come out, types of games that I like to play, as well as the law enforcement aspect of it that most games avoid, or just, there's just not a big push to have games like that. So when this, successor SWAT 4 was going to come out, it was awesome. I saw it. It's like, this is great. Yes, this is what we need. This is so cool. I'm glad these guys are doing it. I was a, supporter pack, whatever, so I was all in. I was big into Ready or Not and what Wood was doing, and I was happy with what came out. I mean, they did a great job. Are there issues that I have with it? Absolutely. I even went to sending an email to him and be like, hey, the ballistic shield, the way that the guy uses it's not very, it's stupid. Like, I would appreciate you guys changing that to make it a little more usable and a little more realistic. I never got anything back from that or anything. But so this is the issue. Void is doing a crossplay release with console. So basically PC and console can play together. I love it. The problem is that in doing so, they now have to dial back the dismemberment / shooting of dead bodies, as well as nudity, explicit representations of violence, mistreatment against children. And I get it. I think there's a lot of misplaced, I don't even want to say anger, just like resentment, I guess, towards Void, or where it's not so much with Ready or Not or Void. It's with the review board that has to give out these ratings and gets to inconsistently say, well, this needs to be changed for this game, but then there's games that are out on console and whatnot that are significantly more brutal than, Ready or Not is. So to get that changed, I think that's a story for another day, but that's where a lot of the big issue is. They just have to, if they want friends and stuff to be able to play together, then they need to play by the rules of what the powers that be say. Now, and I can understand people saying, well, so I'm going to go into the community side. The community side is, well, then they just shouldn't do it. They shouldn't curtail to the powers that be, and they should just keep the game on PC and go about our business. I get that. I do. I also understand from Void's perspective where, well, we want, one, more money. That's always it. You know what I mean? More money. But also you want to allow players on console to play a game that they do not have. There's no game like Ready or Not on console. They don't. And there's also a lot of PC and console players that crossplay Call of Duty, crossplay, I think Battlefield's crossplay as well now, and they're trying to bring communities together that couldn't previously play a game like this together. So I'm all for that. I think the issue you run into is Void had unapologetically made their view of what they want this game to be, the values that they wanted this game to have, and the values of the team that developed this game. They put it all out there and made it very clear how they felt. And that was back during when they were talking about releasing the, active shooter at a school mission, where again, you're playing the good guy. You're playing the good guy going in and stopping this. And they said, no, we're releasing that. Even though there was so much, I wouldn't even say so much. It was just a bunch of loudmouths, saying how dare they do this type of thing. It was the loud minority that was doing that. But they still did it. And they said, no, unapologetically, we are releasing this. This is the values and the way we want this game to be shown, as well as the depravity and the human experience that people in this line of work get to see. And the vast majority of people don't get to see this, or even a glimpse of it. There was a study done where the average person experiences, again, I'm probably going to misquote the exact numbers, I believe it was 2 to 3 critical incidents in their life. And again, I also think this was very low, extremely low. It said that a first responder typically experiences, I think it was like 50 critical incidents in a career. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's some BS. You're talking, especially depending on where you're working, you're talking in the hundreds into the thousands of critical instances that you will experience over a 20-year career, if not plus, because some guys, some retirements are 25, etc. But yeah, and these critical incidents are, abuse of children, bad car accidents, shootings, dead bodies, you name it. Like that's where we're at. Individuals that were injured from stabbing or some type of traumatic fall or etc. That's where the critical incident comes in. This gives people a slight glimpse into the human experience and what law enforcement sees on a day-to-day basis throughout any country. Obviously, some countries are different. That's a different story. But that's what it shows. It shows, a kid in a bed that's, obviously needing medical attention. And all these adults that are using drugs and just, not even caring. That happens. That absolutely happens in the real world. It shows these trafficking rings and how the treatment of these people that are being trafficked is displayed. And that's real. It is real. When you have Void, over the course of this game, keeping these same ethos, keeping these same values, and then all of a sudden changing their tune and saying we had to curtail to the ratings board and had to change this. It doesn't sit well, and I think that's why. Because throughout the course of Ready or Not, Void has always been, nope, this is how we're doing it our way, we don't care. And now they're backtracking. So I think that's where a lot of people got the bad taste in their mouth over this. And I don't disagree. I see it from Void's perspective, I see it from the player's perspective. Now, from my perspective, the only issue that I have with the reduction in the content, with the, if you want to call it the brutality of it, etc., or toning it down, is the dismemberment, where AI in the game that gets gone cannot be interacted with further by shooting. And the reason for this, again, when Void released the update that changed the AI's behavior to play dead, get shot but not be completely gone, and then get back up and try to find a weapon, etc. That was a big update, because now, okay, hold on, now this guy might be playing dead. We need to secure him. You know what I mean? Well, you're not, if you're playing the game right, you're not gonna dead check him. If you're playing the game right. So the only way to do that is to secure them. With this update, as soon as the AI character can no longer be interacted with when they're on the ground, as far as tracking them as they're falling and shooting, as soon as you stop seeing bullets hitting the AI, you're gonna, okay, that one is gone. And that's where my issue comes in. The whole point of that update is to, again, add a sense of realism to the experience, where you're going through these houses, you're being shot at, etc., and then maybe you fired a couple rounds, and then you go in the room and now there's an AI that's on the ground laying there. And it's like, did I actually hit him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That was the whole point, where AI was going to play dead and then try to sneak up behind you and, do their thing. Now that's not really needed. It just kind of gets rid of that whole aspect. Because once you put a couple rounds in somebody and they're following, you're still tracking, putting a couple rounds, and they just start phasing through them, and there's no sensory interaction to where you're hearing the thuds or you're seeing the splatters. Now it's like, okay, that guy's done. Okay, move on. So that's where my biggest issue with this whole change comes in, is I believe that it just kind of takes away from that aspect of its realism. As far as the nudity, I don't care. The child mistreatment. I think the rest of the world that they built around it can help show that. I mean, heck, even if they just had like an AI kid that was just in the house, like, I think that's gonna make players be like, what is this kid doing in here? You know, I don't think they need him convulsing to display that on a bed. But that's just my thoughts on it. I think there was a lot of misplaced anger on this one, but I can understand the frustration because it is a little disheartening. I thought Void was unapologetically like, no, this is our game, this is how we're gonna do it. And then they did this and decided to make some changes. But like I said, the only thing I really have an issue with is the interaction with an AI after it's no longer a moving AI object, you know? And because I believe it takes away from the whole trying to, you know, feign their deaths or feign the fact that they're no longer a threat. I think it kind of gets rid of that to a certain degree. But I was a huge supporter of Ready or Not and Void, and I really don't do videos like this. And I probably won't in the future, to be honest, unless Void does something else that's completely, you know, like, oh, I need to talk about this one, because I supported this game quite a bit throughout its development process with emails, hey, you know, maybe you guys could do this, as well as getting the supporter pack, etc., and just really wanting this game to come out and be a solid SWAT experience, and I thought they nailed it on the head. So I hope this doesn't continue as a trend with Void making these changes, but I guess only time will tell on that one. But that's all I got, guys. And also, I think, again, a lot of the issues with the rating review board teams and whatnot, but I'd like to know what you guys think as well. So if you guys want, just let me know your thoughts on it. I have a pretty moderate take, so I get it if I make some people upset that I'm not, you know, no, uninstall it, no, downvote it, you know, whatever. That's where I'm at with it. There's only one issue I have with it, with the downplaying of the brutality, and I hope they can retract that one when it comes to the deceased AI not being interacted with further with rounds. I mean, again, there's other changes that I'd like to see with Ready or Not. It's not perfect. There's quite a few. I'd like to be able to launch 40 mil gas into the house, to the upper portions of the house, to drive people to the lower portions, and the gas actually stay effective for a while. And there's quite a bit of stuff that I would like to see, as well as bringing back the other game modes, you know, where you can pick that you want more hostiles and more traps and whatnot, because that was fun. And I honestly hope Void at some point will allow players to actually pick, hey, we want this to just have a crap ton of bad guys, you know? We want the most amount of bad guys that we can have in this mission that doesn't impact performance, you know, terribly. I wish they would do that. But that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you on the next one. And it probably won't be a my thoughts style video on the next one. So, all right, take it easy.